everyone. Thank you for joining me today in the Zoom COPD clinic. Today, we're just going to go over a self-assessment form to better understand your COPD and how to manage it. So first off, what's your current smoking status?
Well, I'm still smoking. It changes by the day, but I think average is around half a pack a day.
Okay, and how long have you been smoking for?
Wow. Well, I turned 70 this fall. Well, and I've started smoking since the age of 20. So it's yeah, you could do the math. It's been roughly 50 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, so are you interested in the smoking cessation program that we have at the clinic here?
I've tried quitting many times myself, and I like to work on it myself. But maybe we could talk a little bit more about it at the end.
Sure, sounds good. And I'm just going to pull up your last spirometry test. And from what I can see, you were diagnosed with COPD in 2015. Is that correct?
Yeah, roughly around that time.
Okay, and I can also see from this test that your estimated lung age is over 80 years. Do you know what this means?
No, that's actually the first time I'm hearing that. That's a little concerning.
It is a little concerning. Well, your lung age is essentially an estimation based on a mathematical formula based on your age, height, and breathing function, as demonstrated by the spirometry test. And it basically compares the average age of a healthy non-smoking person who would have had the same lung test. So for example, a 50-year-old smoker may be told that she has the lung of a 75-year-old person who smokes, who doesn't smoke. Yeah, so...
Yeah, that's not exactly the best news for me. I want to live as long as possible, and me being 70 but having the lungs of someone who is 10 years older than me is not what I want currently. Yeah, I think it's definitely something that I could take into consideration moving forward.
Okay, so we can definitely discuss joining the smoking cessation clinic later in our conversation. And from your experience, how many exacerbations or flare-ups have you had in the past year? And can you walk me through what you do during one of these flare-ups?
Yeah, my memory's a little blurry, but I think under 5. I think 3 is the better number. They're usually pretty noticeable. They happen slowly, but they last for a fairly long time. Usually they become really noticeable when I have to stop whatever I'm doing to stop, pause, and breathe for a second. So that's how I know if a flare-up's happening.
Okay, and do you use your puffer when you're having your flare-up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have to have them.
Nice. And can you walk me through the steps of how you would take your inhaler?
Well, the pharmacist just told me to first shake, put it in my mouth, take a small puff, breathe in, and then breathe out. That's all I do.
Yeah, just to go over it in a little more detail, you'll first breathe out. Let's take all the air from your lungs out, away from the inhaler, and then you would breathe in with your medication in and breathe in deeply, and then hold it for about 5 to 10 seconds, or as long as you're comfortable. And then you're gonna slowly breathe out. And if you do it correctly, you really shouldn't feel anything in your throat.
Okay. Could I maybe show you now that Zoom? It's finally good to kind of go have some face-to-face interaction.
For sure.
So I'm gonna shake it. I'm gonna breathe out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, and like it feels like there's nothing there because previously when I was breathing with the old way, I didn't exhale first off, and then I felt that there's always something itchy at the back of my throat, kind of a little bit of like an irritated feeling. But now when I went through it, felt like nothing. I was essentially breathing nothing. Is that supposed to happen?
Yeah, so if you do it properly, you really want to make sure that you really empty out your lungs so that you can breathe in as much of the medication as possible with that one breath in. So what you just did was perfect.
Got it.
And now let's go back to your flare-ups. Do you ever cough or cough up any phlegm or sputum when you have these flare-ups?
Yeah, I think my chest will start to feel a little bit puffy. This entire throat area will feel like there's a lot of mucus buildup, very thick as well.
What color is it?
Oh well, I think for me mostly it's clear. Maybe some white, some yellow here and there.
Okay. And how's your sleeping? Does your breathing ever wake you up at night?
Yeah, occasionally I'm not the best sleeper, but sometimes I'll find that I'm occasionally woken up by a lack of breath, and there I wouldn't really take any medication. I usually just wake up, have a glass of water, and go back to sleep.
Okay. So now that we've gone over the self-assessment tool, we hope that now we can go over a few techniques to better help you better manage your COPD. And we'll discuss a few other strategies as well, aside from taking your inhaler. And these are meant as a basic guide only. It doesn't replace the need to discuss your management plan with your healthcare team. And so the first and most important thing is to quit smoking, as we just discussed. You have been smoking for for about 50 years, and it's not easy to quit, I admit, but with your condition and current lung age at over 80 years, it's one of the best things you can do for your health right now. And there are many helpful techniques to help you quit. In fact, as we mentioned, our clinic offers smoking cessation calls where you and a trained volunteer will work together to create a quit plan and discuss strategies to change your smoking habit. There are also medications, nicotine replacement therapies, and other self-help materials to guide you. So is this something that you're interested in?
Yeah, like I mentioned, I've tried many times in the past. I've tried everything, but now knowing my lung age, whatever you just said in the beginning, I think definitely smoking is one area that I could definitely work on. I want to live for as long as possible, and I think my lungs are probably a big area of concern right now, given that I also have COPD.
Yeah, for sure. And if you ever have setbacks, don't let that bring you down. It's a normal part of the smoking cessation journey. So in addition to quitting smoking, it's also important to avoid secondhand smoke if you live with another smoker in the household, and also exposure to dust, toxin, and fumes whenever possible. And if you are exposed to any of this in your household or workplace, try to wear a mask or stay close to a well-ventilated area. And also on bad pollution days, you can find these by looking at the Weather Channel or checking online. Try to stay indoors.
Yeah, I think, like you said, everything you mentioned is something that I already knew, but I think for me, the hardest part is kind of that first part about secondhand smoke. My wife also smokes, and she actually smokes inside the house and does smoke more than I do. I tend to smoke mainly at work, but it's just nonstop exposure. So it's like I said, it's pretty hard for me to quit.
Hey, that's okay. You and your wife both can actually sign up for our smoking cessation calls. She doesn't have to be a patient with Dr. Kearney to sign up.
Oh wow, yeah, no, that's really great. I think smoking is something that she never brought up. I think collectively we both know what's right to do. But yeah, I didn't know that she was good to just join the clinic without being a patient or having a referral. That's perfect. I can definitely provide the front desk later with my wife's information.
Perfect. And secondly, try to maintain a healthy, balanced diet and adequate exercise. So eating well can help you feel good and stay healthy. And there are also many YouTube videos and webinars on healthy eating from our clinic that you can check out through our YouTube channel. Additionally, it's common for people with COPD to limit exercise due to their shortness of breath. Always talk to your healthcare provider before starting an exercise plan and start slow, but regular exercise can help strengthen your heart, lungs, and muscles. And many people with COPD actually enjoy activities like walking, water aerobics, or riding a stationary bike.
Yeah, this is all great stuff, and I think majority of my activity actually comes from work. I average over 10K steps at work, so I get all my exercise in. I'm constantly on my feet, but sometimes when I'm moving about during work, I'll still find it a little bit hard to breathe sometimes. And what are your thoughts on that, especially when it's hard to carry 2 to 3 of my poppers with me at all times at work? Anything I can do to help?
Yeah, for sure. So there's something called pursed lip breathing that you can try. It's actually one of the most simplest ways to control shortness of breath. And it provides a quick and easy way to slow your pace of breathing, making each breath more and more effective. So to practice pursed lip breathing, you need to breathe in slowly through your nose for 2 counts, and then keep your mouth closed. And then pucker or purse your lips as if you're going to whistle and breathe out. Exactly.
Okay. Now, what does that exactly do?
So that'll help make sure that you take a really, really deep breath in, and all the way into your lungs, and take your breath out, and kind of slow the pace of your breathing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because normally when I get really tired or short of breath, I find that my breaths are very shallow and quick. It's almost like panting. It's like, but I think just having that reminder will definitely it'll help me with practicing deeper breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Thank you so much, Subin, for all this advice. This call was certainly very helpful, and I'll definitely be sure to schedule a smoking cessation call with you next Tuesday, so I can definitely start back on the journey of quitting smoking. And yeah, I know how much of the YouTube channel is a big part of the clinic, and I'll continue to just pick up any healthy exercise and eating videos from there. And this might be also a good time to just have start a new journey on improving my eating habits as well as kind of my lung health. And hopefully I can just get back to doing more walking and exercising too now that the weather is getting better. And yeah, I really appreciate your help. And yeah, I'm gonna go outside for a walk right after this. Thank you so much.
No problem. So we're very excited for you to work towards healthy living with COPD.
Great, perfect. Take care.